Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Wishbone Wedding. Am I the a-hole for refusing to include my mom when I go wedding dress shopping? I, female 29, am engaged to my fiance, male 32, and we plan on having our wedding towards the end of this year. We are so excited and I cannot wait for him to be my husband. Together, we have planned most of the wedding and have organized all of the vendors except for buying my wedding dress. I have started the process of looking for dresses, but most bridal boutiques are fully booked into 2023 to accommodate all of the weddings which were postponed over the last 2 years. I have called every boutique within driving distance and have been put on every waiting list. About a week ago, I received a call from a local boutique telling me that someone had cancelled their appointment and that spot had opened up if I would like to take it. The only catch is that the appointment will be early in the morning, as most boutiques have extended their business hours to accommodate as many people as possible. With current restrictions, the boutique only allows for me to bring one guest, so I phoned my mom, female 22, to invite her along. This is an event that I would really like to share with her, and she has always told me that she'd like to be there. Unfortunately, as she reminded me, the appointment coincides with her weekly yoga class, which she has been attending for 20 years. I explained that the boutique had me on a waiting list and I did not choose the appointment time, but she feels that I did not push them hard enough. I phoned the boutique back and they said that I could either go back on the waiting list or I could attend. This was their only available appointment, so I confirmed that I would attend. I phoned my mom back to let her know, and she again declined by saying that I should know the time of her class after 20 years. So I invited my soon-to-be mother-in-law, female 58, to attend in my mom's place. This has caused a rift with my parents, saying that I'm excluding my mom from a special experience and showing my true colors. While my fiance and future in-laws feel that I gave my mom the first choice and it was her decision to decline. As of right now, my parents have said that they will not attend the wedding. I am honestly at a crossroads. I am so grateful that my mother-in-law can attend and we can share something special, but I would hate for my parents to miss my wedding because they feel so excluded. My mom has told me that she will use this experience as an indicator for how I will behave for the rest of my life, and that she is clearly lower down on the priority list than my future in-laws. She has also said that she feels I vindictively chose the appointment time to purposefully exclude her. I am worried that I have jeopardized my relationships with my parents by not making more effort to include my mom when I go shopping. I jumped at the first available appointment without making sure that the people important to me were able to attend, and I confirmed the appointment with no consideration for my mom's schedule. So, am I the a-hole for not trying harder to include my mom in a special mother-daughter moment? Wow, OP, no, you are not the a-hole. It's a yoga class. She can attend the next day or next week. I mean, that's something she can push for something as big as getting a wedding dress with her daughter, right? Way to make your daughter's wedding about yourself, Mom. You are awesome. First of all, she must understand that boutiques are swamped with people wanting to buy dresses now that everything's starting to open up again. That's strike one. Then they accuse you of saying that you are excluding your mom. No, she's excluding herself and you're showing your true colors? Strike two, Mom. And then your mom telling you that she's going to use this experience as an indicator of how you will behave for the rest of your life? Well, OP, you could do exactly the same thing with her. This is how she's gonna behave. It's all about her, and that's it. So that's strike three, Mom. You're out, and future mother-in-law is in. Again, OP, your mom is excluding herself. She's the a-hole here, not you. And they're also saying that they're not gonna attend your wedding just because of this. You know what? F them. This is your and your future husband's day, and that's it. And what is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Cool Clerk 9835 says, I roll. She could skip her class one time, not the a-hole. What a bratty thing to do. You did explain you were on the waiting list and were only able to get the appointment because someone else cancelled, right? She chose a yoga class over going with you, which shows you how high of a priority you were. You can shove that in her face if she continues to complain. Yoga Funk Girl says, not the a-hole. I'm so sorry that your mom is behaving like this about her absolutely childish refusal to miss a 1 in 1,000 yoga class. please go to the appointment with your mother-in-law. Invite your mom to the fittings. If your parents follow through on the threat to skip your wedding, it says more about them than you. Remember, you are building a new family with your husband and focus on that joy. Sending you hugs. Efultz76 says, so let me get this straight. You were able to get a coveted appointment that happened to coincide with your mom's yoga class and you took it. Now your parents aren't coming to the wedding because your mom couldn't possibly miss one yoga class to go with you? And you think you're the a-hole? Sweetie, there's two a-holes in this scenario and they're the people who gave you your genetic material, since you didn't mention being adopted. Take your mother-in-law and let your childish parents miss your wedding. It's their choice if they do, not yours. And OP responds, thank you for your comment. I sometimes struggle to identify whether I am being manipulated by my parents or if I am truly in the wrong, so the perspective of strangers has really helped in this case. Additional information from OP's comments. Unfortunately, this is not the first time something like this has happened, but situations like these have definitely increased since I moved out and started dating my fiancé. I was hoping that the wedding would be a happy time and could really bring us together again in a functional mother-daughter relationship. But guilt tripping and manipulation were core parts of my childhood, and I sometimes struggle to identify whether I am actually causing an issue or if it's an issue of my mother's making. However, since meeting my fiancé and being exposed to the way that his family operates, I have realized that my family's relationships are quite dysfunctional, mostly stemming from my mom's victim mentality. But I sometimes struggle to recognize whether I am the problem or whether it is more manipulation. I agree that this is a day to celebrate my relationship rather than a day for my mom to be the star, but I am an incredible people pleaser and sometimes struggle to put myself ahead of anyone else. I think that posting here and seeing all the not the a-hole comments have really given me some perspective. My fiancé, reading these comments with me, has said that he has been trying to tell me the same thing about her for years. Sometimes a little outside perspective helps, and these comments amongst others have certainly given me something to think about, and I'm looking forward to a stress-free shopping with my mother-in-law. Alright, the community spoke, OP listened, got perspective, and now we are ready to move on with the update. Thank you to everyone who offered some perspective on my original post. The strength of strangers and the support from my new family has been so lovely. The morning of the appointment, my mother-in-law and I were dropped off at the bridal boutique by my fiancé. To my surprise, my mom has skipped her yoga class and was waiting for us. My mom told me that she is still happy to attend the appointment despite everything that I have put her through and told my mother-in-law that she was free to leave. My mom also announced that she will be paying for any dress I choose to signify her importance as the mother of the bride. Before I could even open my mouth to respond, my fiancé was telling my mom that she was not welcome at the appointment and that we did not need her money. I stepped in and told my mom that she rejected 2 invitations to attend and that her own actions had caused all of her stress. I also said that I will be trying on dresses with my mother-in-law because she has acted more like a mother to me than my mom ever has. My mom put up quite a fight, but my fiancé made sure that she left before leaving himself. After a few tears, I had a wonderful time with my mother-in-law. I have since learned that my mother-in-law was raised in an emotionally abusive home, so she is very understanding. Unfortunately, I was not able to find a dress at the boutique, but I no longer need one because my fiancé and I have decided to get married in court with my in-laws as witnesses. My mother-in-law has offered her wedding dress for the occasion. Apparently, she wanted to offer it sooner, but ironically did not want to step on my mom's toes. We have been able to recover the deposits from most of our vendors and told all the guests that we decided on a smaller wedding instead. Everyone has been very understanding, aside from my mom. She insists that she had always intended on going bridal shopping with me and had told me that she had a conflicting schedule because she wanted to surprise me on the day. My mom says that she only became upset when I invited someone else along before confirming that she could make it. Now, my mom is, as far as I'm aware, trying to have me kicked out of the family by spreading the story that all of my behavior has been a vindictive plot against her. Thankfully, everyone still seems to be quite happy to include me. The truth is, my mom has always guilt-tripped and emotionally blackmailed me, but it has taken me a long time to recognize that most families don't operate like mine. To be honest, I am tired of it all. For now, I have my wonderful fiance who has been so supportive and his family who I love. My parents have been officially told that they are not welcomed at the wedding, and I haven't heard much from them since. I don't think that they ever expected me to recognize their behavior and stand up for myself. I won't lie and say that it was easy telling my mom that she was not welcomed, and I still feel incredibly guilty for hurting her feelings, but I know that setting up healthy boundaries will not be an easy or fun process. The big turning point for me was when my fiancé said that he didn't want our future children exposed to my parents, and I realized that I didn't either. In any case, my new therapist tells me that I can't control their actions or take responsibility for their emotions. I am looking forward to my court date. Well, good for you, OP, one step at a time, and you're getting rid of the toxicity in your life. It sucks that your parents are like that, but if you're better off without them, then good for you. All the best in your upcoming wedding, OP, and thank you so much for sharing. Take care. And now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Functional Psychopath. Dealership said sue, so I did. This all started in December of last year and just finished last week. So, I bought a car from one of those buy here and pay here places. I love the car. It's a Mazda 5 from 2014. Basically, the smallest minivan I've ever seen. Well, on Christmas we drove to some family for dinner and celebration. When we went to leave, the car would not start. We checked everything and found out the horn wasn't even connected. Any fuse that wasn't absolutely needed was simply missing, and the tires were the original tires. Beyond that, we hooked it up to the computer and it read several errors, but the one getting in the way was the immobilizer. I had never known the van had one. I called AAA and set up towing, but because we were in the middle of nowhere, AAA couldn't get a tow truck to us under our membership, free. So we had to call a tow truck and then submit the bill to AAA after the fact. So my family lets us borrow their car and the van was towed to a shop. A few days later and the shop calls and tells us what's wrong. I live in Texas, a single party consent state, and I record all my calls thanks to an app on my phone. The long list of car issues isn't important. The point of this van is a basic work van. The only issue they found stopping it from running is the immobilizer is active and they can't touch it without talking to the dealer. I three-way call the dealership and the shop and we talk for 17.43 minutes. During this call, the dealership acknowledged we were not behind and everything should be working unless it malfunctioned. The dealership also gave permission for the shop to bypass it and we would be reimbursed for the towing and repairs. All the shop needed to do to get the van running was bypass the immobilizer, and a couple of days later we picked up the van and paid the bill. Both bills came to just under $300 and we started calling the dealership. The first few conversations go well and the phone rep seems interested in helping, but mostly I end up getting tossed around from department to department and then disconnected. That went on for some time and I of course took to Reddit to find out options. As almost always happens, Reddit users know some crazy facts and how to get stuff done. So I followed their advice and kept calling, eventually getting to a supervisor. He said he'd get it taken care of and we ended the call. 2 more days go by and nothing is heard. So I call back, get tossed around, and then another manager who says, "We are not responsible for mechanical issues," and hangs up. I call back now quite annoyed and eventually get back to the same manager. I explain I have all the information and call recordings, including the repair shop three-way call. He cuts me off and says, "What? Are you going to take us to court over $296.47? I don't think so, but go ahead and sue. We will win. And if that small amount is worth suing to you, you probably don't have the resources to actually sue." This, of course, made me quite upset. So off to a justice of the peace and explained what's happened. They give us a small claims form and explain the process. We can fill it out and pay for a constable to serve the dealership, or fill out the paper and take it to the dealership unfiled and explain everything to the manager in person. We chose the cheaper route because the manager on the phone was right. We didn't have the money to have it served, only filed. So we transcribed the phone calls, found out how to fill out the paperwork, The hardest part was finding the agent. We didn't know what that meant, but we again turned to Reddit and learned. We gathered the bills and all the paperwork and made our way to the dealership's payment center. I wait in line and see the name of the manager is the same as the manager on the phone that told me to sue. I wait in line, and when it's my turn, I ask to talk to John, and he comes over and sits across from me. After making introductions and I confirm it's the same guy, I start to explain the situation again. As I'm explaining, I see when he recalls talking to me on the phone. He starts to dismiss me, and I explained that he asked me to sue and I'm here with all my evidence and the unfiled suit, giving him one final chance. He starts to look over the papers and asked if I still had the recordings. I said yes, I could email him a copy. We sit and talk for about an hour as he reads. Then I said with a slightly aggravated tone that if something isn't done today, not only am I going to head right back to the courthouse to file, but I'll also tack on emotional distress and whatever else the clerk hinted at. The clerk was very open-mouthed with ideas, as well as send a copy of everything to every email on the corporate website. At this, our conversation drew the attention of a woman in a power suit who rushes over for a recap. I found out she's John's boss's boss's boss, and she's none too happy about how far things have gone. She assured me that all would be made right and gave me her cell number and email. I gave her the papers and left. The next Monday at 8 a.m., I got a call asking to know if credit applied to the account would be acceptable. I said yes, and she explains they will credit $500 to the account as payments. The payments are only $155 every 2 weeks. I agree and we talk for a few minutes, and I ask why it took this much to get things done. She laughed and said, "It shouldn't have, and certain people are no longer employed at the company." Well, today was Wednesday and the day of the payment, but when I went to make the payment, it was already done. Thank you, power suit lady. Ah, so satisfying, OP. You took care of that bully. Power suit lady took care of that bully. Well done. Thanks so much for sharing, OP. Now let's quickly move on to a final post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user Armando L27. I had my cousin's car towed from my driveway. So basically, my cousin parked his car on my driveway and he's blocking my work truck. He parked on my driveway because he didn't have a residential parking permit to park on my street. However, he parked directly behind me instead of the other side when we have a 4-car driveway. He left from the local airport to avoid paying for parking. The worst part is that he took his keys with him on his trip. Also, I couldn't squirm my way out either. I have a 2500 Denali and a Classic in the garage that I wouldn't consider damaging for this inconvenience. Moreover, he didn't ask for permission or even give a heads up. I literally woke up and saw him blocking my driveway and I texted him to move his car. Then he told me he's in Texas and won't be back for a week. My cousin and I never established a real relationship. Our relationship is just superficial. Ultimately, I called my police department and had his crap towed. I don't intend on paying for this either. I have not notified my cousin about his car being towed. He will find this out on Thursday. Wow, OP, your cousin sounds like a total jackass. Good for you for towing his crap. Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.